All right, so we're back with the ill-fated 327 S10 swap. We're going to go ahead and try to finish tearing down this block. Everything's already been loosened. We got to get the crankshaft out of it. So I can unbox the crankshaft that I was sent to see if it's going to work in this block. So hang on, we'll be right back, and we're going to tell you all about the crankshaft that we got sent. Alright, so I told you in another video, I believe, that I had secured a crankshaft, and the crankshaft came in the Saturday before I had to go out of town for a family gathering. So I've had this crank for a little over a week and haven't been able to unbox, unveil what's in the box and show you what my buddy out in North Carolina did. He is Left for Dead Garage. It's HG. He does all kinds of hot rod stuff. All I can tell you is go check his channel out. He's got all kinds of stuff going on, and he's putting up videos about once a week like I am. So anyway, I want to personally tell you, HG, thank you. I'm sorry I haven't been able to unbox it before now, but we're getting into it. And I saw his video, and he put some goodies in this box for me. Of course, the sales pamphlet, and of course, the sales pamphlet and the box wouldn't be complete without a sticker, right? We're gonna have good use for that sticker real soon. All right, let's get all the wrapping and packing, and man, he packed the snot out of this thing. This box is double and triple walled. Let's see what we got here. He packed us a brand new Competition Products catalog, which we will be using because we got to have some more new parts for this 327. Hopefully this crankshaft fixes everything that we need to fix. So, the catalog, moving along. Get the wrapping paper out. Wow, he packed 2 catalogs. So, I will carry one of these. I've got a bunch of hot rod buddies at work. We'll carry one of these to work in case somebody wants to look up any hot rod parts. We'll hook them up with Larry. And he hooked me up, and he has given me one of these before, and I have worn it out. It is now relegated to a work shirt. So now I have a going to town shirt. So thank you, HG. All right, so it's in here. Let's get a look at it. Oh yeah, these journals are much better shape than mine. A little light polish and these will work. Let's get it up out of here. I tell you what, I'm gonna set the box on the floor and then I'm gonna pick the crank up. How about that? Good grief. I'm gonna hide that bag. Get up out of there. All right. Good googly moogly. I always forget how heavy a crankshaft is. All right, let's see. Let me get it set down here. Get a different grip. All right. Try not to smash my fingers. Okay. It looks like it's saddled down in the... I can't tell. Looks like it's not settling down in them bearings. Well, you know why it's not settling down in them bearings? Ding dong! Because this crank that came out of this block has already been ground, and these are, I think these were 30 over bearings. No wonder this crank won't sit down in those bearings. I'm an idiot. It's late, I'm tired. So give me a little forgiveness there. But yeah, I believe it would sit all the way down if we had the right size bearings to go in here. All right, inspecting the crank, I see maybe one spot on the, what would be number 1 and 2. It has a little bit of a burr on it, not anything serious. Like he said, it will polish out, I believe. It's not anything to speak of really at all. Just needs good polishing. I polished out more than that out of my 260 crank that I've got sitting over there. It's a runner in the corner that I just built. All right, so you remember a few minutes ago when I said that we're going to need to buy some parts for this. Competition Products is one of HG's sponsors, and I could buy parts from anybody in the country right now, and there's nobody I would love more to use than Competition Products. And then if that in any way helps or supports HG, that's even better. So I am going to, any parts I order for the rest of this build for this engine is going to be coming from Competition Products. This is HG's sponsor, but since what he did for me, helping me out with this crankshaft, I will be using them. I wanted to cover this real quick since you can see how I have everything laid out here on the floor. It's kind of laid out in order, and we're going to get a CAT scan real quick and check everything out. But as you can see, like I said, I have everything laid out as it came out of the block. And I have over here, you can see I have right there, I have the main caps laid out as they came out of the block. And I wanted to talk about that stuff for just a minute because the only pistons or connecting rods that I can see any discernible mark on, it's not that one, it's this one. It's this one. It's the only one that had a discernible mark. And it's the number 2 connecting rod. All the other connecting rods that I pulled out have no markings. And I don't know why. I don't know that I've ever taken an engine apart that everything wasn't marked. Moving forward, the connecting rod, excuse me, not the connecting rod, the main caps, I see no markings. They have an arrow and an F. So I'm assuming that they want you to, you know, the F stands for forward, I'm thinking. I don't know that. Does anybody out there know? Leave a comment if you know if that's what the F stands for. But it has an arrow, and I know the arrow points to the front of the block. But I haven't wiped the bottoms of them off. They're oiled up pretty good. But there's just, I've looked all sides, and there's no markings. None. So, on the early small block Chevrolet, can anybody out there tell me that they just didn't mark this stuff and just line honed it and put it together and hope for the best? I mean, I find that hard to believe that they don't mark this stuff. So I'm going to mark the stuff so that it at least goes back in order in this block in the way it came out. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, and another thing that I noticed, and I'm wondering if it's got to do with carbon or debris. The pistons move freely on the wrist pins, but they don't just flop. They do move, but they're not really all that free. I've never generally experienced that. Normally, when I take an engine down, these have no resistance. That's one of the better ones. See if I can find one. That's one of the better ones. There were 2 or 3 that were pretty tight when I pulled them out. Is this one of them? This one's a little tighter. See, it'll hold the connecting rod. I can push it. I mean, and it's not like it's hard. And you push the wrist pin over to one side and it kind of gets loosens up. But if you center it, it's kind of got like it's got a little drag on it. Not experienced that before. I don't see any problems with the pin from the part that I can see. And I don't see any problem where as much as I can see up into the piston where the wrist pin rides. So I'm hoping that maybe it just needs a good cleaning and that will free up, because I certainly don't need a wrist pin seizing to a piston. All right, so moving forward, what have we done today? I called Competition Products and I placed a part order for all of the stuff to hopefully go through and build this engine. Earlier in the video I mentioned and talked about how nothing was marked, so I came through and I punch marked each of the rod caps, all but the last one, which doesn't need to be marked because it obviously goes where it goes. And I went through on each of the pistons, and just in the carbon temporarily, I've scribed into the carbon on top of the pistons before I clean them where they're going to go. And when I get them down to the shop, I'm going to take and punch each connecting rod with the appropriate spot that it came out of in this engine. So right now, what are we doing? We are going to go ahead and snatch all the bearings out of the main caps, throw them away, and we're going to take and punch out all of the cam bearings and get them knocked out. We're going to see if we can't real quickly go ahead and see about honing this this block out before I go ahead and carry it to the hot pressure washer and get it all cleaned up again. So let's get busy. All right, got the cam bearings out. Now it's time to get after the cylinder honing. All right, so we've gone through and we've quickly ball honed all the cylinders to get a nice surface prep. One of the things I failed to mention earlier about this block is there is zero ring ridge. This block was turned 30 thousandths, and I don't see any ring wear in the cylinder walls from the 30 thousandths. But we do have a small problem. Not the end of the world kind of problem, but it's still a problem. There are scores and scratches from this cam that was going away, and it has scores vertically in the cylinder walls. The dingle ball hone is not taking them out. They're very smooth and there's not very much present, but I know in my heart of hearts what's going to happen if we don't try to address that. It is going to use oil and could potentially smoke a bit when after this engine is built. So I'm going to try to deal with that. Right now we are trying to run down a cylinder hone to see if I can work some of that out. Like I said, the scratches aren't deep, but they're present. They're there. There are some scuffs on the piston skirts that I believe I can smooth out and get to make them to where the pistons will be okay. All right, so my son has located and got a cylinder hone on a lock that we're going to get tomorrow, and be able to be a little more aggressive with the honing and see if I can get these scratches out and make myself feel a little better about these cylinder walls. It's going to be a little more aggressive than the dingle ball hone. Dingle ball hone is great for doing your final surface prep before you build and give something for the rings to wear into. But they're not real aggressive, so they're not going to take off very much any surface imperfections. I'm not trying to bore this block at home. I'm just trying to go a little bit further with the surface prep to see if I can get some of these vertical scratches out without having to go through and go and buy another set of pistons and get this block bored to 40 thousandths. Well, we have had to back up and punt. I took off the cylinder hone. It was not doing the job as like I thought it should. So I went back ahead and went back to the dingle ball, and I'm going to throw in a couple of pictures right here, and you can see these cylinders and what they look like, and give it a couple seconds to let you look at those. And this is what they look like now. I went back with the, let me get the right angle, there we go. Went back with the, you can barely make out one little spot right there that I've still got to work on. But I've been working with the dingle ball hone, and there's just a few left right there. And we've got a few left right there. I haven't really worked on this cylinder a whole lot, or this one. But this cylinder is coming out a whole lot better. It's just barely any perceptible right there, and it's just about to come out. And we've got a little bit at the bottom of that one. This one has probably had the most work done to it, and most of the scratches are gone. 99% of the scratches on this cylinder are gone. We're gonna keep going. None of this is optimal, I know that, but we're at the point now where if I'm not able to get these scratches out, this engine is going to drink oil. So I've got to do what I got to do to try to make it work. I know that if I keep going, I'm going to be considered boring even more. But what we're looking at is it's going to be another $500 or $600 for a set of pistons, the boring, and getting the pistons pressed onto the connecting rods. So I'm trying to avoid that if at all possible. All right, so we're going to put a pin in it right here. Guess who just got called for jury duty? Yep. So while we're out doing that, why don't you go out and watch another video coming on the screen right now.